Okay, we are live, and hello, Stephen, Tom, Carol,
Hey, Peter.
Mitali, John, Lisa, Bill, Adeel, and Anna. If I've missed anyone, I'm not sure. I've got no idea of the order except Donna, you're going to be first, right? You're first. And with your permission, I'll go in this order. Donna, Neha, Pat Dryer, Stephen, okay? Then Tom, Carol. Nice to see you, Carol. Mitali. John, that's John Allen. Lisa, nice to see you, Lisa. Bill Pickett, nice to see you, Bill. Okay. Adeel and Anna. Any more? We'll do it then. Okay. Now, the focus is who do you love to serve and what can you do for them? That's the whole purpose. And it's your promotion. Way you go, Donna-Lea Bowman. Over to you.
Over to me. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here. I am the proud founder of Donna-Lea Bowman Consulting Group. A very short explanation of what I do is I focus on business growth through strategic initiatives, client relationship management, and partnership development. I also do a lot of connecting people and businesses with common interests and needs. I work with a very diverse group of businesses and institutions across different industries. And I am very solutions oriented. I work with a lot of people who are simply stuck. For some reason, they just can't seem to get past that, that problem or the hurdle. And we do a deep dive into what's actually going on. So we look at it from a holistic approach. And that's what I do.
Mm-hmm. So that's who you love to serve, but can you give me a little bit more specifics about what you can do for them, Donna? What outcome do you love to see? Yes.
Okay. I'm very process oriented and work towards solutions that will help them get beyond where they are now, grow their business and move past the issues. I also work with clients who have issues with team building, communications within the staff structure, and who need to shift how they're managing people in order to have a more, sorry, I'm at a loss for words this morning, have a more cohesive team. So right now, a lot of people are having trouble with, everyone is working online. There's a lot of people that are feeling isolated. They feel like they just don't belong anymore. They're trying to manage everything with being parents and, having kids at home. And COVID has just, affected many, many businesses. So I help them work beyond that with their goals.
Okay, thank you, Donna. And if you've got a website or a link that you'd like people to go to, please make sure, and this is for everybody, please make sure you put it in the comments, not in the chat here, in the comments underneath the replay of this video, okay? And I will take that link as well and put it into YouTube when I upload this video, all right? Thank you, Donna. Welcome, Yvonne A Jones, and welcome, Desi Perez. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Neha Sonney, you are next one.
Exciting. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Can you hear me?
Speak up a little bit more.
Okay. Is this better?
A little bit more.
A little bit more.
A little bit more.
It's like the max volume over here. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yell at us.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good morning, wherever you are. What I do is I'm very passionate about relationship coaching. Why am I passionate about it? Is because I have had a history of bad relationships, and getting out from a toxic relationship and finding the most beautiful and nourishing relationship was the number one thing for me. And this is what I help people with. A lot of the times they're single. They've tried all the dating apps. They've been to matchmakers, but they have not found the love of their life, their soulmate, their partner in crime. And how I help them find that person is by helping them see where they may have had, you know, patterns that, and then help them break through those patterns of maybe toxic relationships, not just intimate relationships, but also friendships, maybe colleagues, and just reflect on where they can have more positive experiences and increase their positive experiences, how they can better their own relationship with themselves. And when this has been my own experience, that when I bettered my own relationship with myself, I was able to meet better people, not just as for a love interest, but better friendships. I was making better and more meaningful relationships. So this is what I help people do. And if you would like any help with regard to that, please feel free to get in touch with me. I would love to hear from you. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Neha. And for them to get in touch with you, please make sure, I'm going to say it again, put your link in the comment section underneath the replay of this video, all right?
Okay.
Because the whole purpose is for me to try and promote you in any way I can. That's what I'm on about, right?
Right.
Thank you, Neha.
May I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Neha, do you work with only women or do you work with men as well?
Men as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I have somebody that I'll talk to that I think he'd be a great fit for you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom. That's really good to hear. Okay. Pat Dreyer. Oh, before you do that, hello, Patrick Kern, Captain. Nice to see you. I'll leave you to the last, right?
Captain Kern.
Pat Dreyer.
Hey, Peter, thank you so much once again for hosting these meetings. I just absolutely love hearing what everybody's doing and how they're doing it. It's an interesting group. Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Dreyer, and I am from Phoenix, Arizona. I think we're one of the few parts of the United States that's not getting blasted with snow and cold right now. It's been crazy out here. Yeah. But I'm in network marketing. We're absolutely having a blast helping this company expand. So who is my preferred customer and what can I do for them? Well, anyone that wants change in their life can benefit from what I do, but my preferred customer is the business owner. So if you're familiar with Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad, Poor Dad and his cash flow quadrant, first comes the employee, and they're more consumer oriented, right? So with us, they'd be more product oriented. Next is the self-employed guy. So it's someone who really bought themselves a job and they run the entire operation. They do the hiring, the firing, they do all the training. They're first in, they're last out. They're very hands-on, and they've got very little time for this business, but that's where our comp plan comes in. But then it's the business owner. So you think of someone who owns a bunch of the same franchise restaurants, say like McDonald's or KFC or Subway and the like. And they actually go out and they hire a management company to run their business. So there's a system to ensure that all their stores run the same. And these people actually have that mindset and the influence with others that's perfect for network marketing. And that's who we like to go after. Now, having a system in network marketing is also the way you get success. So it's simple, has to be simple. It has to be easy. Anybody can do it. And you don't have to be the expert when you're working with this thing. You really just let the system do the work. But we can show anybody how to make an extra $500 on up to whatever they desire. But we do it works best by showing them instead of telling them no. So how do we do this? Well, we do it by giving away free accounts. How do you make money giving away free accounts, right? I don't know. Well, have you ever heard of Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok? There's a million of them out there, right? But what they all have in common is that they became successful by giving away free accounts. And the same thing's happening with our company. We're growing like crazy because of it. And in my opinion, the system is actually the company's #1 product. Where else can you go and you get in for free? You create a free account. use that free account to literally make millions of dollars. And as my business partner always says, documentation beats conversation. And he actually trademarked that phrase. I just want you to know that we can back up everything that we're saying here. But the next best part of our deal here is the comp plan. There's actually 7 ways of getting paid, but the sleepers, the check match payout. So can you imagine creating a free account for someone? They go absolutely bananas. They really do this thing up. You just immediately change your life forever. There's one person in our group, and her name's Kirsten Woodman. She's been almost 3 years in the company, had no time to work this business. She was actually helping set up a gymnasium type subscription gymnasium. And she introduced Bill and Deanna Stevenson to us, and they took to the business. She's made over $250,000 just from the check match part. And this is why people are telling everybody about this business. You just never know who's going to take this seriously and just go crazy with it. But when you're dealing with a business guy, the mindset that they have is they want to know 3 things. Who are you and why should I listen to you? What is this? And tell me how you make money. So I'm Pat Dreyer. And to be honest, you shouldn't listen to me. You should be listening to Josh and Jenna. That's the people that created this. And I just want to give you a free account. And like I shared with you, I just would rather show you than tell you. And once you get in, you can click on the training. You can go through all the videos with the owner of the company, and he'll explain absolutely everything from A to Z to you. And he'll tell you about the company. He'll tell you about the products, the free system, everything. So how do you make money? Well, let's jump on a Zoom. I'm going to show you how fast with this free system, either on the app or the capture pages, how you can share with everybody on social media. Then I'm going to show you a little bit about the comp plan so that you can introduce me to the very best people that you know. Then I'll do all the work for you. All these questions are actually answered inside the free account. And so we try to get them in there real quick for 3 reasons. 1, people have an 8-second attention span. I'll bet you're not listening to me. I'm kidding. But they tend to overthink things like this. 2, you get to see everything from A to Z. All the answers are in the back office. And just by asking the question, I can guide, direct, and point them to where all the answers are in the back office. And eventually they get used to it, looking back there to find the answers. But we know what gets people excited. And getting them results is really what we do. The best thing that we can do for people is get them results, and it comes with the free account. So pull back the current, show them everything before they ever spend a dime on it. And my job is actually to get you a paycheck by next Thursday. So let's get that free account started. Peter, that's who we help, and that's what we do for them.
Thank you, Pat. Any questions for Pat?
Yeah, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Pat, I just want to know, is your system location specific or it caters to a global audience?
It goes for a global audience. Oh, Adeel, there it is.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is that okay?
Pat, a question not about your business, but I will follow up on that. What part of Arizona are you in?
I'm in Phoenix, North Phoenix.
There's a restaurant up in the hills there above Tempe, used to be anyway, called, I think it's Pinnacle Pete. Is that still up there? Do you know?
It is. It's at the resort.
Yeah, it's a big place with tables and benches and
yeah, you take a slide to get into it.
And if you're wearing a tie, they cut it off you. Are they still doing that? Yeah,
it's still there.
I wanted to send somebody there, and I wasn't sure if it was still there. So that's cool. Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, it's at the resort.
Okay, thank you very much, Pat. And please make sure you put your link in the comments, okay?
Thank you, Peter. I will.
For anybody who's looking for a network marketing opportunity, we've got a few network marketers here, and we're blessed because they're all darn good people. So I appreciate the opportunity of sharing you, Pat Dreyer, with the world. Okay, so thank you. Stephen B. Henry.
Thank you.
Who do you love to serve, and what can you do for them? And you've
Well,
got 5 minutes.
I serve a lot of different people. That's just sort of happened. You know, I think I've mentioned to you anyway, Peter, that I'm not big on the avatar focus in on who it is you deal with, because I just deal with so many different people, and they don't all have blue eyes or, you know, red hair or wear cowboy boots.
Well, hang on, Stephen, let me interrupt you. Sorry. How would I know I'm talking to a potential client of yours?
How would you know you're talking to a potential client? Well, you know, again, mostly they come to me, but what I want to focus on for today is a group within them, a focus group that is work from home individuals, people who are starting businesses, variety of different types of businesses, working from home.
Okay.
And they need support. Some of them have never done this before. You know, they've never had business before, especially now in the time of the virus. They had jobs. They were the kind of people who worked jobs, and they find themselves out of a job, and they're looking for a replacement income. And so I work with those people from the get-go, and then continuing on through. And I have a program I call Success in a Year. It's a 12-month, 12-module program that starts out, you know, one-on-one. We have a conversation and see if the fit is right, and the usual kinds of things, and get them started. We'll start at the beginning, finding a business modality for them. Some kind of a profit module or model that they can do. We look into their skill set and what they're going to bring into it, and try to find that path for them, and help them develop it. I've got a great deal of experience in that, and I get them on the Success in a Year program, which gives them 12 modules, self-study modules. Each one has a different theme focus that adds up to the the sum total of business, and each one has 4 major sections within it. It covers there's a keynote section for the module that deals with the focus of that module, and then there is a business section, a personal section, and an online presence section, because we're talking about online business here. So the tech is covered as well for them. And as they go through that program, self-study for 12 months, we touch base periodically, one-on-one sessions with them, at least once every month. And more often if they have questions or are stumbling. The program is modified based on what we find that they have the needs, so that we cover those same needs for other people. And then we have group sessions, which are actually a lot like this, Peter. Zoom, multiple members at the same time, bringing up questions, sharing ideas and experiences. And the result is that these people come out of the other end, 12 months of that program, having found the path that they are wanting to follow. I see success not as a place, but a journey. And when you get on the right path, understanding what it takes to be and stay successful and move forward. And that's what we teach in this program. So it works out very, very well. I'm in the process right now of revamping the program and taking it up a notch. There's been a lot of learning for me over the past 2 years with this program. It's been very good, and some real success from it. But I'm going to take it up a notch as I'm bringing in new people to it, and focusing a little differently on it. But the principle of it is the same, and it's those 12 key focus modules, those keynotes that it goes through, that lead to the success, the journey, and the doing is as much as the content, as much as the material. It's the structure that these people are on for 12 months that when they come out of the other end, that structure is learned and ingrained and they carry forward. We've had some pretty good success with it. So it's become a signature program for me. And that is one target area. These are mostly, mom and pops working from the kitchen table to get started. We take them into some better things beyond that, show them how they can set up their own operation and do a better job that way. But they start out typically a mom and a pop around a kitchen table looking for that business, and they want the income and something that they can work with. And there we go.
Okay. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you very much indeed. Any questions for Stephen?
I don't have
Neha.
a question. I don't have a question, but just wanted to acknowledge, appreciate Stephen having, found a problem with my website just last week, and if it were not for him, and this is pure, just as a way for him to do his expertise, right? So it's just he visited my site, and then there was an error that I was not aware about, and thanks to him, I was able to know about that, and I was able to fix that. So I appreciate Stephen for sharing your knowledge with me, and thank you so much.
Well, you're very welcome.
Okay, thank you, Neha. Tom Petty.
Okay, I'm up. Good morning, everybody. Autoimmune diseases, they affect about 20 million people across the United States, and that includes things like psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis, and there are a host of others, lupus. And I have psoriasis. I've had psoriasis my entire life, and it's a difficult to control disease. Doctors want to give you toxic medications that you get very little results from. And with my psoriasis, it was classified as severe, and I did not have good results with the medications. So I've put together a program for people that have autoimmune diseases, specifically psoriasis, but it would also work with people who have other autoimmune diseases, AI diseases, to what I say is, instead of treating the smoke, put out the fire. So the fire is the internal inflammation that your body has that is exhibiting with ugly skin like psoriasis or other diseases. And by cooling the fire inside your body through a three-step process that I've put together, it's what worked on me. I'm essentially off all medications, and I'm 99% in remission for the first time in my life. I'm 58 years old and have mostly clear skin. So my passion is helping people that have ugly skin or other diseases, painful joints from rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, that kind of stuff, and help them to heal themselves from the inside, my three-step process. So if people are interested, they can go to controlmypsoriasis.org, and you can see a video of my story and kind of the 3 steps that I take you through. And that's my story.
Thank you, Tom. Could you make sure you put that link in the comments?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very important. Any questions for Tom?
How many of you know somebody that has an autoimmune disease, or have an autoimmune disease? So yeah, it's very, very common.
It's very, very common. Yeah, I just wanted to say is that a lot of people have it. People just don't talk about it. So, and having talked with Thomas, was it last week?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
It feels like, a lifetime already passed. Yeah, I think that it's important to consider that, most of us have issues these days. A lot of our family has some kind of health issues. So speaking with people like Thomas will help you figure out sometimes other options, and just knowing you might have other options can help mentally, especially when you are in the discovery process of what the hell is going on with your body, and can take forever for the doctors to find, even to find out exactly what's going on.
Yep.
And find the diagnosis. So yeah, highly recommend speaking with Thomas, because there's a lot more of us in the shadows than people think.
Oh, thank you, Anna. I appreciate that.
Thanks. Because, I mean, Stephen and Patrick both gave a pretty clear indication. I mean, they're business oriented, and they've got their own passions and really good ways of helping people start a business. In Tom's case, we're talking about a very emotional, confidential subject, and people quite rightly don't feel comfortable in sharing information if they do have the disease. But if you know them and you now know Tom, then you can at least introduce them, because I'm going out of my way to promote you, Tom, for one reason. I'm not going to put you in preference to anybody else, but the service you are giving is something that no doctor's even solved yet, right? That's the point. That's what's fascinating me. And it's bloody natural. That's the bit I love about it. So if you know anybody that you think can benefit from at least even talking with someone like Tom, please make sure you do that. All right. There you go. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Mitali, you had a question?
Hi, it wasn't really a question. It was more just to let everybody know. Tom's got a fantastic PDF resource that he shared with me, which I was able to share over social media. Because the thing with a lot of these autoimmune diseases, we know logically that you shouldn't be ashamed about it because you're not asking for it, but we are. So lots of people they just suffer in silence. So Tom's created a fantastic PDF that I just shared all over social media. And that's a great way for it to get to people who may not have revealed to you that they're suffering from something, but they see that PDF and then they'll get to know Tom. So I just wanted to let everybody be aware.
Good point.
Share his resource.
Good point.
Thank you, Mitali.
Yeah, thank you, Mitali. Stephen.
Tom, what Mitali just shared is fantastic. Can you provide a link to that document in the comments there with Peter, so we can all have a look at it?
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
absolutely.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Tom? Okay, thank you very much, Tom. Carol Davies.
Hi, I'm Carol Davies, and I am a success coach who works with very stressed and overwhelmed women entrepreneurs, usually over 40 is the type of ladies that I attract and I love to work with. My passion is to work with women who need to get clear on where they're going in life and put themselves more in the center of their life and get what we call a life-work balance. Now, a lot of people refer to that as work-life balance, but recently I heard a very exciting presentation about not work life, but life-work balance. And that's what I like to do, is to work with women who have just almost lost themselves, and they've either lost themselves in their job or they've lost themselves in their family. They feel they have no time for themselves, or they're lost and they want to change careers. And it's like, well, where do I go? Who can I help besides, just feeling lost all the time? And I like to do that because I had, for a long, long time, problems with feeling that I didn't know really where I fitted in the world, because I have a background as being raised to be very quiet, very, follow the rules, this and that. And I didn't really even know who I was. And I noticed that as I got into life and lived things, and I lived through a lot of difficult things sometimes, I had figured out a way how to get that balance in my life. And I just saw so many other women not exactly suffering, but they just didn't present themselves authentically. So I thought, I really, really need to put together a program that will help women like that, because I had a lot of mentors along the way, a lot of good help. And I've put together a program that I work with people. It's not quite as long as Stephen's, but it was very exciting to hear about Stephen's program, because that is absolutely amazing. And what I like about working with people is I've worked one-on-one with them, but I'm going more into a group setting now. It's finding out, like, what are your core values or beliefs that drive you in life? And have you really been taking advantage of how wonderful you are? Just realizing how wonderful and talented you are as a woman, as a person. And the techniques and the different things that I go through, they're good for men and women as well. It's just that I seem more drawn and have worked with women entrepreneurs. And it's so true what Stephen was saying, that a lot of people are pivoting now to, being more online, and just that thing of being home more, and, being a solopreneur or whatever. They just don't know, like, how much time should I give to my business? How much time should I give to the family or to myself? So I go through quite an in-depth process with questionnaires, self-assessments, and then together I work with the client to find an individualized program for them that suits them at their need. It's their goals, what achievements they feel they need to do. And it doesn't have to be done in 3 weeks, 2 months, 6 months. I work with the person as long as they feel like, they need to think. But I also have a couple of programs where I can do something a lot quicker if they just feel like they want to get over things. Like, one of my more popular ones is working on increasing assertiveness skills and communication in women. I'm working with a couple of women now, and we're just having some fantastic results, because they didn't really know quite how to, they became new managers and things like that, but how did they work? How did they get themselves perceived to be a leader and a manager in an effective way that suits them, and not have to try to don somebody else's characteristics. So this is a new path opening up for me, and I'm finding this extremely exciting. So I just like to say that if anyone needs help with, just really determining what path they want to go, what is the best way for their life to be, then I'm the person who loves to help you.
Thank you, Carol. Any questions for Carol? Do you prefer to work with women or men?
Well, I've worked mostly with women, but I have had male clients in the past. It just seems more and more that with everyone pivoting, to be a bit more online, it seems like more women are finding me. And I don't know if it's that the men don't want to, maybe it's a very personalized type program. But yes, I've had good results with working with men clients too.
Okay. Thank you, Carol. And Fred, good to see you, mate. I should have acknowledged you earlier. I know it's late for you, so thank you. Hang in there, mate. Pat, one comment. I want to go back to you quickly. You made a comment. You said documentation beats conversation. Did I get you right?
Peter, you did.
Documentation beats conversation. I would agree with that if you're not doing it the right way. But I'm not sure whether I totally agree 100% with you, right? I mean, if you conduct this conversation in the right way with people, then documentation will be an outcome of that. That's what I'm getting at. Okay. And the reason I'm saying is because I've just put a post in the group and it says, don't have enough people to talk to, right? If you don't have enough people to talk to, let me know. Just say yes in the comment and I will create something for this group if you want to do that. Because the one thing that I think Pat, you don't suffer from this. I appreciate that. But the one thing that many people are struggling with is not having enough people to talk to grow their business, okay? And when they talk to them, the point Pat was making in terms of documentation, building conversation means, in other words, have a system to talk to them about. Just don't play games with them. That's really what Pat, correct? That's what you were driving at. Is that right? Because
in that case, yeah, but there's a couple of different ways of looking at it also, because what you really want to do is find somebody that's proven and documented. If you're looking for somebody to help you, you got to find somebody that's proven and documented.
Right. Right, and they've crossed that bridge. They know what it's all about. Yeah.
Right.
Good point. Thank you, Pat. All right. Thank you very much, Carol. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Mitali, over to you.
Hi, guys. Okay, so the question is, who do I love to serve? Is that correct, Peter?
Mm-hmm. And what can you do for them?
What can I do for them? Okay, I love to serve coaches, consultants, and speakers, mainly because they've had the biggest impact in my life over the years. So I can work with all entrepreneurs, really, but I choose to work with coaches, consultants, and speakers. And I would say my ideal client is somebody who's doing very well already, but they just have a lack of freedom in their business. So they're earning a lot of money, but they don't have very many hours, or they don't want to work a lot of hours, but because of that, they're not hitting the earning levels that they want. So they're stuck between having to choose between time and money. So it's like, if I want to earn this amount of money, I have to work 60 hours a week. Do I want to do that? No, I don't want to do that. So I only want to work 30 hours a week, but then I'm not getting the earnings that I want. So how I help them is by turning them into an authority. And one of the fastest ways to be seen, the perception of authority, comes from being a published author. So I help them become a published author within 90 days, both on electronically and paperback formats. That was a very fast answer, wasn't it?
And it's all about one word, Mitali. I thought you might have mentioned this. It's called leverage.
It is. It's. Oh yes. It's about perception and leverage. It really is. Or leverage. Which way is the right way to say it? I call it leverage.
I don't know. I'm an Aussie. We're pretty dumb. Okay. Whatever you want.
I say leverage. For me, it's leverage.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm with you, Mitali. It's leverage. Yeah.
There
absolutely.
we go. We'll just ignore Peter. It's leverage.
Yeah.
I call it leverage, and I'm a dumb Aussie, Peter.
Good on you, Desi. You got someone supporting me.
But yeah, it's all about, it's about perception, because I mean, with my previous clients, it's not like suddenly they wrote a book and magically they were 10 times better at what they did. That's impossible. But it's a perception, my previous clients, because they've leveraged their book, they've ended up getting into the press. Some of them have got into sort of the TV as well. And the perception of the world is you're an authority in that subject. You're not just a standard life coach or strategy consultant or whatever you are. You must be the authority in this because you have a published book. I mean, I can see Lisa smiling because she knows exactly what I'm talking about, because she is an author, and so she's gone through that process herself. And it's the way the world sees you. I do wish I lived in a world where it's just about merit, but it isn't, sadly, guys. Sorry to break it to you, but it isn't. It's how the world perceives you. And if you're seen as an authority, you can charge more, you can work less and earn more. It's just an easier life. And the process of getting clients becomes easier because people come to you already usually pre-sold to you because, either they've read your book or they've heard so much about you because you've been in the media. So they kind of already have this great perception of you. By the time they turn up in front of you, they're pre-sold to whatever it is you're wanting to sell them, whatever product or service it is. So it's just all in all a much easier life in your business if you're seen as an authority. Now, I'm not saying becoming a published author is the only way to become an authority, but from what I've gathered over the last few years, it's the easiest way. It's the easiest way to leverage, a specific thing that will just gain you authority. So, yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Mitali? Lisa?
I was just going to add to that, Mitali. I mean, she's doing such important work because really it is about all those things you mentioned. And plus, it also helps us to expand the impact that we have, right? Because if we have a certain message that we feel really strongly about and that we want to help people, there's no better way than to have a book, because then you can spread that message, you know, globally now with all the online bookstores, and then starting to get feedback from people in different countries. Oh, your book has helped me do this and that and the other, is really on a personal basis very fulfilling. So you're doing really important work for authors and
yeah, I'm glad you said that. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, a lot of people say that because what they're doing in their books is they're writing down their processes, and what ends up happening is they can help people who really wouldn't have been able to afford. Either they wouldn't be able to afford their services, or they're on the other side of the planet, so that they wouldn't have been able to come. But now they're able to help those people, and it's very fulfilling to know that, you know, it's, instead of doing that one-to-one transformation, it now becomes one-to-many. So you just have a much bigger impact.
It feels like a legacy. Like if it just feels like, yeah.
Stephen.
I just wanted to underscore that Mitali's right on, and I'm actually going to take advantage of your services for some of my clients. I have 2 books on Amazon, and I signed a contract with a client last week because of those 2 books, and they were waffling. They you know, they didn't know me. They hadn't had long experience with me, and but they wanted what I offered, and I referred them to my 2 books, and that closed the deal. It made me the authority. So you know, there's just so much power in what you said. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, I always say that, you know, your book, as long as you leverage it correctly, it'll be the best marketing tool you'll ever have. It'll sell you far more than a website or a brochure or business card or even a sales page. You know, it really is the best marketing tool you'll ever have at your disposal. Thank you.
Let me just say one other thing. I mean, I don't have financial interest in this at all. I'm not Mitali's coach, none of those things. Just an old Aussie mate. But she didn't mention the most important thing of all, and that is the darn thing's been published, her book, on, correct me if I'm wrong, March the 12th. Is that right?
Yes, and I'm having a Zoom book launch party, which you're all invited to. I'll stick the details on the chat, and I'll also stick the details in the group. I think the details are already in the group. I think I posted it. But yeah, it's going to be at 7 p.m. GMT. I know you're all over the world, so I don't know how that works out time zone wise. I wish I was a flat earther now, because it would make my life a lot easier not to have friends all over the world in different time zones. But yeah, if you can make it, it would be wonderful. It should be a lovely night. And I may just get a little bit drunk though, because I've not had a day off since the 1st of January because I've been so busy promoting my book. So you're going to see a very relaxed Mitali on Friday the 12th.
Excellent. And please watch the interview we did. It's in the group there. We had a lot of fun doing it. Okay.
Yeah, Peter, I think Yvonne had a question.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mitali. Oh, by the way, I just watched that interview last night, actually. Very good interview. I didn't quite finish it though. I have a question regarding publishing, Mitali. My first book on Kindle to do with superior customer service I never promoted it or anything. I just put it there. It was back in 2011, I think it was. Now, a lot of things I would change, because with that, I focused a lot on direct sales, customer service for direct sales. Now, what do you, in your experience, which is better, to write a completely different book or update that one? Still there with my name on it, but what do you think is better?
I would say if you didn't leverage it in 2011, it makes sense just to have a brand new book. There's something, I don't know, that's why I've not had a day off since January the 1st, Yvonne, because I know what the way the world perceives books, and a book kind of it gets the most attention just before it's about to launch. And then I would say about 2 to 3 months after that. And, you know, that's when a lot of the media are interested in you, and they're like, oh, tell me about your new book. Once a book has been out for a little bit longer than that, then it's kind of like, it's a bit like old news. Great for still getting clients, by the way, as Stephen, explained, he just sent somebody over. So from a client point of view, you can still send people to the book in 2011 and they'll still do the job. So from that point of view, Yvonne, you can carry on doing it. But if you're wanting the buzz of a new launch and maybe just build your authority, get into the press, that kind of thing, nothing beats a new book. So I would say rather than do a second, you don't have to rewrite it. You can still use huge elements of the previous book if it's still relevant today, but I would call it something different, new cover, and just ride the wave of a new buzz of a new book.
So there's so much more I want to add, but I wanted to get your opinion on that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Mitali. Long John Allen, look like a pirate. I hope your eye's getting better, mate. So,
I actually know I've just about lost the sight of my left eye. So I got cataracts. Hopefully in the right eye I'll hang out until this one's done in the end of March. But one of the things that I've been picking up this morning since listening to everybody, I'm going to change basically how I start out my elevator pitch for a better thing. I help people who are blind in their marketing, small business owners who are blind in their marketing, not getting the results they want. And obviously it's a play on words. One of the things that a lot of people do in their marketing is small businesses have three main problems. They don't know how to get clients. We're all saying that. They don't know how to generate instant cash, and they don't know who to turn to when they need professional help. So I've been fortunate enough, I've got a book out. I haven't promoted it like I should, and also have a computer program. I didn't invent it. It's got 429,000 or whatever they are algorithms that walk a business owner through and can show them where they have somewhere between 10 to 100K in additional revenue laying in their business. It's a service normally charged $500 for, but for COVID, going to offer it for free, let people know there's nothing for sale. They get a roadmap when they're done. And if they want my help after they go through it, because a lot of people will say, holy crap, that's a lot of work, then I'll offer to help them out and go through one of my programs. So basically that's who I help, is small business owners. And I also like to work with business owners that have been in business minimum of 1 to 3 years. And the reason for that is they get over the honeymoon state of I hung up my sign and they will come, because everybody just expects, wow, I put my sign up there, so everybody's going to come. So this is who I like to help and go from there.
okay. Any questions for John? Okay, well, we'll move on because we've got a lot to go.
But I'd actually just be interested to learn about your program, John. So make sure you push the link up.
Sure.
Yeah. And make sure the link's in the group, John, not just in the chat, all right?
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks,
Lisa
Red,
has
for that.
a question. I think Lisa has a question.
Yeah, sorry, Lisa, beg your pardon.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask, John, like, can you give an example of some of the blind spots that you're seeing that people have with respect to marketing?
Oh, for their business? Basically what happens is a lot of people will use whatever idea comes through, the bright shiny object, for example, whether it be Facebook, Google, whatever. Somebody comes in and says, you know, I got this great grand and wonderful offer for you, and it's going to generate you a lot of clients. If you notice, one of the first questions these people ask is, what's your budget? And a lot of these sales reps, especially newspaper, radio, or TV, they work on commission. So their whole idea is the more advertising or market they can sell you, the more money they make. And a lot of these people don't understand marketing. Their whole job is to go out and sell their services for whoever they work for. And I'm speaking from experience from this because years ago in Canada and the US, we had what was called the Henderson Directory. And it was before things came out on digital. What happened is that book listed everybody over the age of 18, where they worked, where they lived. And it was a great way for business owners to skip trace somebody if they bounced a check. And the book itself was $95. This is in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And if you wanted to upgrade it, it went up from there. But a lot of people bought the book, and simply the next year when I went back, it would be, you need this book. And the one thing we were taught was, if it worked, I took credit for it. If it didn't work, it was somebody else's fault. And that was their whole thing. Like, yeah, it didn't work in your book because you didn't have it in the right spot, or you didn't do this right, or you didn't do that right. It was never my fault because I didn't do it right. It was always their fault. And I know people, they put an ad in the newspaper, for example. And I tell people, newspaper ads are good for two things. Newspapers are good for two things: swatting flies and lining bird cages. Because 98% of the people that read the newspaper aren't your ideal customer. So for a lot of times, that money is being wasted. You'd be better off putting your money into something where your ideal clients are. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, that does. Thank you. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, John. Lisa, it's your turn.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. You're all very inspiring with your work. So who I love to help are managers and executives who are facing struggles and challenges at work. It's one of the toughest jobs in the world to be in the middle of the organization because you're getting pressure from the top and also from your employees. And lots of times there's no time for yourself or to try to figure out what to do next to keep things moving along. So what I do is I coach and I train middle managers and executives to be able to ignite engagement, to light a fire in the hearts of their employees so that they can become the type of leader who people really want to work with and who people love to be around and want to do their best for. And I've dedicated, I'm so passionate about this that I created a company just before Christmas. I'd been in business for 10 years, but it was more broad HR kind of services. But I decided before Christmas to really start zeroing in on leaders as middle managers mostly, because I find they're underserved. A lot of coaches are executive coaches and deal with the C-level suite. And I want to help people before they get there. I want to help them to know how to engage employees and treat them well and get the best out of people in a healthy way, way before people, rise to the top of the company. And another area I work with is to help them to get ahead while staying true to themselves. Because a lot of middle managers share with me that one of the things that discourages them from moving ahead, especially those who are really human-centered, is that they don't want to play games. They don't want to, try to step on others to get ahead. They don't want to, backstab people or whatnot to be able to achieve the management ranks because they really want to go and grow their impact. So really, those are the kinds of leaders I want to help. People who care, but sometimes they struggle and they don't know how to make it all work.
Lisa,
I wish I'd have known you when I was with Guard of Security.
Lisa, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
It's very common for people in middle management to be promoted beyond their levels of expertise based on, so they're micromanaged because that's what they've been good at in the past, right? But does that same thing happen to the C level?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's people who've been promoted to the C level who are well beyond their ability.
Absolutely. Well, see, because what happens is the way we promote people in organizations is usually based on their technical abilities. So their specialty, their subject matter experts, they're really excellent in finance, marketing, you name it, right? They're amazing. And we consider them high performers. So then they get promoted, they get rewarded for doing amazing work by being put in charge of a team. Meanwhile, they spent 5-10 years developing their craft and like zero time developing their leadership abilities or an understanding or having insight into what motivates people and how to motivate people so that you don't have to micromanage them, so that you can trust them, train them, mentor them, coach them, and basically, like I said, ignite that fire in their hearts so that they want to do their best. And essentially what you're doing is you're lighting your own leadership so that then you can help others do the same. Because we want to create organizations where everybody is a leader. Some are formal leaders, they hold titles, and they're able to bring out the best and the best leadership in their employees. So at the end of the day, you have a better functioning organization and it's healthier, because what happens is when managers are promoted without being prepared for leadership is that it creates a toxic environment, because they don't know how to motivate people. So what they do is they end up micromanaging them. They end up trying to control and command them. And So what I help them do is shift their mindset so they know to go from high performer, individual contributor to great people leader.
The reason I ask that question is because in my corporate life, which I never want to go back to, we were involved with one of the major corporations in Australia, which was an engineering corporation that bought out our financial and a life insurance company. So I end up with them because I came from the life insurance area, right? But the CEOs, the string of them were all engineers with absolutely no people skills at all, right? Yeah. And they used to drive people crazy, truly crazy. So that's why I asked you. Okay.
Yeah, no, and in fact, that's an area of specialty is working with construction workers, engineers, and scientists in particular. So.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bill Pickett, Influence Now, I can see behind you.
Morning, everybody. Basically, who do I serve? Well, I serve basically solopreneurs, homepreneurs, I call them, people that are trying to work from home, that are trying to build a presence in social media and, struggle with it. And basically, I teach principles and strategies that will help them elevate their presence in social media. Basically, like some ideas would be like the art of persuasion, content creation. I teach how to take a piece of content and use it, create that piece of content, and then repurpose it so you can use it on various other platforms within social media. So you're not constantly trying to recreate content for each platform. It's a lot easier how to automate that and how to distribute it without freeing you with more time to be able to create other things as well. And the artist storytelling, basically, learning to get your story out to the public, because everybody wants to hear your story. Your story is waiting to be told. We all have a story, and we don't take the time. We're thinking about building our businesses, and people don't care about the business; they care about you. So it's all about branding yourself through influence and using influence to drive your business. And that pretty much sums it up. I don't know what else to say about it.
Bill, I
could go on forever, I guess, but
no, don't you do that. but I was under the impression that you were about to promote a free program in the near future. Is that correct?
That's correct. I'm getting ready to actually launch my new group, which is called Influence Now. And I'm going to be doing a challenge, basically. And the challenge is the art of storytelling. So I'm going to be teaching people how to get their story out into the public.
Okay. Could you put the link in the group underneath the replay, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Bill?
Yeah, I have a question for Bill.
Sure.
Bill, I want your opinion on, do you recommend these homepreneurs or solopreneurs to expand horizontally, whereas they go on multiple platforms on social media?
Well, I always suggest that, start out with one platform and get good at that one platform. And then, but you can take and use your content in other ways, whether you put it on Twitter or whatever, and get it out there. You want to be bringing people into your social platform. And the only way you're going to bring people in from your social platform, if you're just on Facebook, let's say, you're just dealing with people on Facebook, and that really narrows your focus on, your audience. So by getting it out there, you're going to draw people into the other areas. All you're doing is distributing your content into other areas, and using that, and use your social media or Facebook or whatever. You could even use your blog if you have, use it as the hub. But I like using Facebook as a hub, and bringing people back there. And then from there, you can direct them to wherever you want to go.
Yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, it's something that I've been experimenting recently, that I was working on a couple of platforms. Like I was on LinkedIn, on Facebook. So I consciously focused only on Facebook. And for that, I kind of put my website in the background, and kind of helped me with my time management and probably reaching out to more within that particular niche that I was trying to get to. So that actually helped me. But I am aware, yeah, you cannot just rely on one platform, because that will be too risky. So that's why I wanted to thank you.
Yeah. Well, basically what I'm actually creating a course right now, and it's going to be called Octo Content. And basically what you do is take that one piece of content and that you create, right? And let's say it's a video, okay? You take that video, you can take and have it transcribed into text, and use that on your blog, let's say. Then you could also take out the audio and put that on a podcast. And you can take little blurbs of your content and put it on Twitter. There's just different ways you can take that one piece of content and redistribute it, so that you don't have to be constantly creating content. You're just repurposing.
If I'm understanding you right, Bill, the focus you've got is more on influence.
Right, it's on influence. It's getting yourself out, being known, using your influence to promote yourself, getting your story out there.
Not just personal branding, but actual.
It's personal branding. It's creating an influence.
Okay, now I understand.
Brand, basically. A lot of people think of influencers as people on Instagram and whatever. Those are very large, influencers, and they have very large audiences. You're not going to compete with them. They're at a different scale. But you could take your own influence and use it at a smaller scale. Even if you have a following of only 1,000 people, that's 1,000 people is a lot of people. If you can grow an audience that large and focus on them, and even from there, if you want to scale, you can scale from there.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Bill? Okay, Adeel, over to you, my man.
Hey, thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to be here. And I really appreciate all the experts who are sharing what they do and who they offer their services to. Just to give you a bit of background, I am joining you guys from Pakistan. And for the last 10 years, I'm working in the coaching and consulting industry here in Pakistan. So I've been very fortunate to work with consultants and coaches very early on in my career. And these were those coaching and consulting firms that were working and providing their services to corporate Pakistan. And major part of what I did was business development. And that's how I got into that. And as I grew in that, I held different roles where I grew from just a business development professional to more towards business development strategy side, consulting side, and also becoming that resource where, all these things that we've been talking about, like if a coach or an expert who needs a book, so I'll be that person who used to get all those resources in place for that and have that done. And that somehow 10 years later translated to what I'm doing right now. So I work with coaches and experts who are in their business for 3 or 4 years now, but they are absolutely hating this social media and wasting time. I mean, the energy and time it requires, it frustrates them, it stresses them out. And it's like, they really enjoy working with clients and coaching them, but figuring out and trying to generate, I think one of the, I think it was John who mentioned that they really struggle with generating leads or finding how to generate cash. So these are some of the areas where, something I've worked on for last 10 years. So I help my clients build offers that are not just high value. That doesn't just take them from charging by the hour to charging for the value they are providing, but it also build upon the outcomes or the methods that they need to actually do that. So I help them do that. And yes, like Stephen, I think mentioned it, your client avatar is not about what color of their eye is or how their skin look. That's demographic, but there are psychographics and things like that. So, who they are as a person, what they are feeling internally, how you can reach out to them. So that's what all I cover with my clients. So now, back in August last year, I started my own company, and I am now providing my services globally, mostly in the United States, Canada, and Australia. And now I help these coaches and experts who really want to figure out, don't want to figure out and spend time trying to know how they can generate leads and all that. And I help them with my services. I have a 12-week program where there are 6 modules where we go from, realigning their vision and goals to how they want to scale their business to where they are now to from where they want to go. We build offers, the problems we solve, we identify that micro niche for their ideal clients where they can find them. And it's and one thing that I do differently is it's not just social media or online work. With my experience as a business development, now, in 1 year's time, I've been lucky to be a part of different networks. So I connect these resources too. So if somebody who needs a social media experts, I know probably some of the best experts in their area who are providing those services. So I connect these resources to different online virtual networking groups too. So that's how business development remains the foundation, or let's say the backbone of what I do. And I build my services around that. So I take my client on that journey. So that's what I do.
Thank you, Adeel. Any questions for Adeel? Any? None? Okay. Thank you very much, Adeel. Anna. Oh, before you start, Anna, Adeel, could you make sure you put a link in, don't forget, into the comments, please.
Sure,
okay, it's important so people can access you directly. Okay, sorry, Anna.
No, that's okay. Good morning and good evening and good day to everybody. I think I covered all hours of the day. So what I do is I work with decision makers. I work with leaders, senior management, C-level executives, as Peter mentioned, and I work with them with a very specific type of client. I work with what I call the progressive leaders, meaning leaders who understand that emotional intelligence is not a woo-woo kind of, something you talk about, but doesn't have practical applications. So more towards working with leaders who are finding themselves, especially right now, these days, with a whole host of their employees, either full-time or part-time, working from home. If you have gender-based issues, you most likely have, I can help with that. So for example, if you're considering policy making, processes, procedures, protocols to support your company's ethical visions, That's what I do. So, and it sounds a little boring, but it gets actually quite exciting because, especially these days, when there's people are very intent on looking back and seeing where we are and where we came from, and we have no idea how to go forward in this new normal where, you know, there's the cancel culture, the call out culture, and what if our brand is being damaged by some whistleblower. A lot of companies, and most companies, have harassment issues between employees. And the problem is that organizations are built to be reactionary. If there's a problem, they'll create a process and a policy to address it after the problem has already occurred, and you already are paying for the liability of it. So, for example, if you have policies or protocols where you say my door is always open, where you say things be a team player, you might have a toxic workplace, and if you have a toxic workplace, I'm very happy to help you untoxic. How do you call it? Detoxify your workplace. Your workplace culture, something you curate, you create, you craft. It doesn't just happen. If it just, the only thing that happens naturally is death and dust, and walks in toxic workplaces. So what I do, along with my I have a business partner, is we work with both the actual leader, which helps them situate themselves to gain better facilitating skills to be able to facilitate those meetings that should have been in emails. It helps them redesign policies where they can figure out where are their gaps. Why are you so focused on efficiency but aren't looking at the people and how well they're doing to be able to create this efficiency? Right, especially as a culture that's in North America that's obsessed with efficiency. So I work with the leader who's lost at what to do now that I have a mess. I don't know how to deal with it. I have people complaining about other employees. I have a lot of noise. I need to learn how to make ethical decision making for 2021 and going forward. So a lot of that includes moments where you yourself are, you're barreling towards burnout. Most of us, I myself included, I always knew when I was barreling towards that burnout. It's just that I didn't know how to stop, to whom to turn, and what skills to use and what tools to use to stop myself from getting to that point of breaking. Right. So a lot of the work that I do is very supportive in terms of advisory. So I'm not the type of coach that helps you figure out what the meaning of your life is. I'm the type of coach that helps you figure out how to make sure that you are living the life, the business life, the professional life that is not toxic, that is not bringing you pain, that is not bringing pain to your employees, colleagues, collaborators. Because realistically speaking, we all have caused people hurt at some point in our lives. It's nice as nice as we are. So how do you handle it with grace? How do you handle the situation with grace, with patience, with skill, with confidence that you have the skills? That bit of confidence is one of the things that people assume leaders are. Leaders are confident. Nobody is just confident, especially those of us whose life kicked us quite around like a ball a few times, So manufactured confidence is non-sustainable. You need to learn how to have, how to use your tools, how to reach out when you don't know what to do. So how to be a facilitator that helps others' voices be respected, as well as have your voice be representing your ethics. So this is the kind of work I do. The ways that I do it could be one-on-one coaching, It could be a facilitated learning communities, like a master class that we're launching in February. It could be designed for you, facilitated community. There's different options. It could be a whole overhaul of your company's protocols and processes. Maybe you need a whole audit, a whole set of recommendations. So this is a whole year, 1 year to 2 year engagement, because when you're looking at maybe possibly 20, 30 years of reactionary processes and protocols, it can take time. So we do a lot of those digging, a lot of that stuff that people don't want to talk about in business. That's what I'm here for, to help you talk about it in a safe environment. That's a big thing.
And is there a direct connection? I mean, you're talking workplace culture, right? And then you can actually break that down also to team culture in a way, if you're looking at it like from a network marketing perspective. But is there a direct connection between the workplace culture or team culture and the quality of leadership?
Of course. And so, as Lisa said, our promotion culture is based on skills and technical knowledge that may not actually be helpful in creating those healthy environments. That's how we get the toxic workplaces that we keep on hearing about, is that link is not recognized yet. Lisa and I are working on it. All right, absolutely. Poor leadership is how we got here. I'm not even going to touch on political leadership.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. But what I'm really alluding to is this: if workplace culture is a direct outcome of the quality of leadership, how many leaders are prepared to accept accountability for that?
Well, it depends. Most leaders don't want to accept it, because who wants to accept the fact that I contributed or created a toxic workplace? Right. So it's very hard. So usually the way they see is, I have silos. I don't know why I have silos. I don't know why people are complaining. I don't understand this. This is usually what I hear from my potential clients. I don't understand how I got here. I have some issues. It's probably about policy creation. Can you create some policies? And then I said, let's just talk. Let's just talk and see. Help me heal my employees. And it's like, okay, let's just talk and sit down and talk and go for quite a lot deeper than that. Because your workplace is a reflection of you. Everything we create is a reflection of us. Our homes are a reflection of us. Our businesses are a reflection of us. Our teams that we create, that we facilitate, our workplaces that we create are a reflection of us. You can't avoid it. So if you have problems in your workplace, it's probably mimicking something that is deep within, that hasn't been addressed and needs to be addressed. So
it's not what you say, really, it's what you do.
It's what you do and how you do it. How do you make ethical decision making? It has to be an effort. It doesn't just happen. It's a complicated world. It's hard to make an ethical decision sometimes.
Okay. Anna, can you put a link in underneath the replay, please?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Desi.
Oops, sorry.
Question.
Do you have anything where a person could get like fast results? By fast results, I'm talking, say one of these people come to you and they've had challenges for years. Could they get results in, say, 2 to 3 weeks, like just something small to show that they're on the right track?
Well, my legal brain is about to tell you it depends. It depends on where the leader is mentally, how willing they are to look at this situation. So yes, there could be quick little, advisory examples where you can help this, this and this, and you will see some changes. But I always say, if you want longevity, you need to invest in longevity.
I agree with it. And the reason I'm asking is like when I work with small business owners, they want some quick results. And they also know that in order to have success, they've got to do it long term. So the one thing I've learned is make sure you find them some quick results so they feel like, wow, I'm doing something. I really am on the right path, and go from there.
I agree. There's
Good
a
point.
difference between small micro business or solopreneur mentality than, for example, a C-level executive in charge of thousands and thousands of people. So the difference is, yes, of course, if it's a solopreneur, I can give you advisory services, and you will be on your on your way quite quick. Because when you're beginning, it's easier to create something from scratch that is ethical and get the results, versus when you've already been in business and you do have a lot of things, a lot of pies, a lot of fingers in different pies. How can you do it quick? I don't think you can. I think we are a culture that wants things quick. If a client wants things quick, I say, thank you for talking with me. Let me refer you to somebody else, because I don't recommend any of my clients, and I'm not comfortable working for fast results.
I'm not talking like solving all their problems fast. I'm saying that they get some small results. And Peter's really good at this. He helps people get little results to start with, and it builds up their confidence to want to keep working with you over the long term.
I understand what you're saying. I know it's gonna sound boastful. I don't have issues with clients who struggle for results, or that are need the boost of little results to continue working with me. My work speaks for itself. What I can do for somebody speaks for itself. So the trust level is already high, very high. So we work together towards the results. So sometimes, yes, you can see some quick results. Can I give you some pointers and you can adjust something very quickly and pivot something quickly? Absolutely, absolutely. They will see results, but I am much more focused, as I said, towards accepting clients that have trust with me and I trust with them. There is respect, and there is and I say as you can tell, there is a lot of me. I'm not one of those butterfly type of person. I go deep. We go deep. So yes, the results and the knowledge can give some how do you call it, outer image results quick. But as I said, I only accept clients that are interested in longevity, and they will see results sometimes very quickly, sometimes a little longer. It depends on the client, where they are mentally. It's a complicated question, because yes, with solopreneurs you'll see results very quick. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Look, I'm aware that it's getting very late for Desi and for Fred. So with apologies to Yvonne and Pat, would you mind if I put them on now first, okay? Desi Perez, the Queensland, whatever you want to call it. Where you go, Desi.
The Queensland girl that hates videos. Okay. I like to help people get out of the rat race way before their retirement age. So I'd like to show them a different way of saving money instead of just getting 1% every year at the banks. I show them how to get between 5 to 6% every week, and that's being conservative at the moment because of the bad economy. They can earn anything up to 15%, but at the moment it's just 5 to 6. So yeah, I like to see people not have to work the rest of their lives for someone, be able to enjoy their lives earlier, and be able to leave a legacy to their kids. So I've been with this company for 10 months. They've paid every single week. And just recently we've had a billionaire sign up with us, which we're interviewing tomorrow night, which is very exciting. But he's not actually in it for the money, because 90% of his profits go to charities and humanitarian aid. So he's a real philanthropist. And even the CEO of our company, he just wanted to find a way for the average person to be able to make some money and be able to retire early. He didn't need to start this company, but he wanted to give to others.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite type of people that I like to help are ones that have tried so many different things online and have failed. I want to show them that there's actually something out there that works. But also the really passionate ones that like to share it with others, they're my most favorite, because they can earn much quicker and reach their goals much sooner.
And that can be anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world. It's actually not open in the US or Canada. But we still get them in with a VPN. If they have a VPN, they can do it from anywhere in the world. Their lawyers are working with the SEC at the moment to get it legalized. But the US is taking the longest. And Canada, they just have to find a different broker. They were in it, and then their broker, something happened with their broker. But there's heaps of Canadians and even US people in it.
So let me get this right, Desi. Are you saying that on average people are getting a return of 5% a week? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, that's
right.
A week, yep.
Is my maths right? That's 20% a month?
That's right. Yeah, and that's minimum. That's minimum. That's it. Yeah, they've been very conservative at the moment with everything going on.
That's amazing.
The professionals trade for us. We don't even have to know how to do it.
Because my bank in Thailand's giving me 0.75%.
Yeah, they're a very open company. They're so honest. Have been paid every week. Never had a problem withdrawing. Open door policy. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Desi? Do you take checks?
I was just going to say, let us know when it comes to Canada.
Yeah, I can get you in Canada. You just have to have a VPN.
All right. Thank you very much, Desi.
Actually, Canadians are some of my favorite people.
There you go. All right. Any other questions for Desi? Okay. 5% a week, mate. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Fred, over to you.
They've got great training and everything. Yeah.
Okay. Make sure you put the link in the group, Desi, all right?
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Fred, over to you, my man.
Mate, 1% a week would do me. That'd be okay.
Yeah.
I've been on before, so a lot of people know what I do, but I'm a bit like Stephen. I'm the tech guy that helps people out with all the tech issues. I build websites, create autoresponders, set up SMS campaigns, do all of that kind of stuff. At the moment, the preferred clients, because we've just come out of COVID again. We were in lockdown for another 5 days, but we've just come out again. So restaurants are starting to open again. So my ideal client at the moment is a restaurant or any business that has a group of people come in. And what I'm helping them do is set up loyalty programs to invite customers back in the door. So they're not going out looking for new customers. They're just getting existing customers, spending more money with them. So we build the loyalty programs, and it's like anniversaries. They'll send them out an SMS or a messenger marketing message, inviting them back in with a free dinner or lunch or whatever it might be, in the hope that they bring half a dozen of their friends with them and they spend a heap of money in the restaurant. So that's really what I'm doing at the moment. The ideal client is restaurants, and what we do is we get them more people, more bums on seats, more money in the cash register, and more profits to keep the staff working and everybody engaged.
Fred, you know, I'm listening to what you say, and I've been listening to what John Allen was saying. You two guys should reach out to each other. Maybe you can do a joint venture.
Yeah, I was happy to, and I do that with other businesses here as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, we whether it's a referral or whether we, you know, split.
Well, I
split
mean,
the profits or
I'll let
whatever
you
it
do
is.
that. I mean, I'm just making a suggestion. That's all.
No, absolutely. No, I appreciate it. So I certainly will. Yep.
All right. Thank you very much, Fred. Any questions for Fred?
So is this your own platform, or do you use?
I use multiple platforms. So it depends on what the business needs. So we've got an SMS platform, text messaging platform, and messenger marketing platform. And obviously we use the normal social media platforms as well.
What about if someone wants to set up a blog?
Do you want to set up a blog? Oh, yeah, well, that's on your website. So, yeah, absolutely. Not a problem.
So WordPress type things, you can handle that as well?
Yeah. WordPress is my preferred platform for building websites at the moment.
Okay. Thank you, Fred. Any other questions for Fred? All righty. Yvonne, thank you for being patient.
Of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Yvonne A Jones, and I am a personal business coach and a relationship marketing strategist. And I echo what quite a number of you have said today. I work with leaders, decision makers, regardless of what you call yourself, whether you're a coach, a consultant, a speaker, a small business owner. I work with decision makers. And why is that? Because decision makers have adopted a mindset of a CEO. Lisa alluded to that. Anna alluded to that. I think Mitali, everyone talked about, you know, the CEO mindset, which is you're responsible for the growth of your company. And so it means recognizing what it is you need for your growth. And regardless of whether you're a company of one or you're a company that employs 50 people, it's recognizing that business is not as usual. It's important to recognize that you need to stand out. And we talked about this earlier. Different people talked about that. It's important to stand out. And one way you can stand out is by doing things differently for your customers. Customer service is the foundation. But now everyone is trying to deliver excellent customer service. And so to stand out, you have to be prepared to take a step a little further. You have to go the extra mile. And in going the extra mile, you have to build those relationships and deliver memorable customer experiences. And it's not enough to say, yeah, I'm doing customer service and we have to get very good at it. Refer to it as customer experience because that's what's going to make the difference. And so for me, I help business owners, I help in whoever you are at whatever category. My specialty is working with women who are 50 and wiser who own a business, but I'm not exclusively working with them. They're just my target. My point is to help business owners generate more income, keep their clients, and create loyal fans because of the relationship that they build with them. And so that they become really loyal and have that emotional connection, because until your clients are emotionally connected with you, you don't have a loyal customer or client. And in doing that, I'd like to invite you all, and I'll put it in the chat, to a webinar or web class I'm doing on Wednesday, the 24th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the title of it is 6 Ways to Wow Customers Who Become Your Loyal Fans. I'd love to invite you so that we can have a conversation during that time. And one of the things that I do with my clients is that I help them to clarify their vision or clarify their values and make sure it's in alignment with the vision they have for their business. And something else I want to add today that I don't usually talk about on this platform is the fact that I also, another way of building relationships and serving clients, I also offer identity theft and legal affordable access to the legal system. I do that. And again, it's decision makers, because whether it's an individual or a company, we protect companies, we protect individuals. you have to be prepared to make a decision based on the information that you receive. So here again, it revolves around building those strong relationships and making the decision to take action. And I just want to add one quick thing about identity theft. If you never purchase anything from me, think about how much identity theft is on the increase, especially now in the US around the tax time. It is crazy. The statistics are up for identities are being stolen. And the sad part about it is that most of us don't recognize that our identity has been stolen until something happens, sometimes years later. So the company that I promote not only alerts you, but it restores your identity to how it was before it was compromised. So thank you for listening. And my mantra, as always, is focus on relationships and the money will follow.
Yvonne, thank you. And thank you so much for bringing up that point about identity theft. That is a huge issue right now. Just today, I was talking to two people and that was the topic. That was the topic because they both had their identity stolen. Okay. One of their social media identities and the other one was their passport and credit card thing. All done. I mean, scary stuff. Scary. And by the way, I love the idea you talk about emotional connections and relationships, but this is a little bit tongue in cheek here. But I also got to go back to you, Desi. I can tell you, if you can have a financial connection where you're giving me 250% a year, you've got me as well. 250% a year, my goodness gracious. I mean, I wouldn't care whether you're the worst person in the world. I'll deal with you. Unbelievable. Anyway, that's an aside. I wasn't being naughty with you, Desi. I was just having some fun, right?
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay. I mean, it's an amazing return you're offering. So it's good luck to you. But more back to you, Yvonne. I just want to say also that in terms of relationships, if you don't have the relationship, you've got nothing. That's what it amounts to, right? You don't have a business at all. And that's why it's important for you, everybody, to reach out and talk with someone like Yvonne if you're unsure about all that. So thank you, Yvonne. Any questions for Yvonne?
Yes.
Yeah, go on. You go.
Oh, sure. Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I have a question because I don't remember if I asked you that during our Zoom meetings, but last week when we talked about client and customer experience, I mentioned something called client experience journey map. Because a lot of leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs always don't consider when the relationship starts with their client. And they assume it's when they get in contact with the client of some sort. But the reality is, first time they hear about you is the start of the relationship. In any way, however they hear about you. Is it a Facebook ad? It's a referral. It's an interview somewhere. It's a book, right? So this is the first time they actually hear about you as the relationship starts, and then how it progresses, and how it sort of say, how do you not end it in a way, right? So let's say you completed the transaction, whatever the transaction is, then what happens after? So the question is then, do you help with creating those that experience map, so that whoever is the experience creator and the business owner, the decision maker, knows exactly where they are and what to do.
Yes, I do. And in fact, I offer an audit. It's hard to speak about everything here on a presentation, but I do offer an audit where I actually sit with the business owner to find out exactly where they are. And because, as you rightly said, Anna, it starts with, sometimes it's the website. This is why I think, who was it? Was here Neha? I think she said that there was something wrong with her website, and Stephen found it, right? Identified it. Because how is our website? That may be the first time someone comes in contact with us. Do we have a website, number one? And number two, is it easily navigatable? Can you go through it easily? Do you make it easy? Do you have FAQs on your website to answer questions that are generally asked? So we go into all of that because there are some things that somebody doesn't need to ask you, send you an email to ask you, because if these are common questions and common challenges that individuals have in your niche, then you create an FAQ and put it on your website so they can get the answers right there. And then from there, it's the steps that you take them through. And you mentioned transaction. We want to even take that transaction word out of our vocabulary because it suggests that once the transaction is done, that's it. But now it's a journey, because that's the difference between transactional and relationship building. Because you're now not just concentrating on just that one-time transaction, but you're taking your customer through a journey. And then what's the next step? And it doesn't have to involve complicated funnels, because funnels sometimes ignore that journey and just concentrate on the sales rather than building the relationships. So yes, I do that with the client, or I can do it for them. I prefer to do it with them because I'm of the viewpoint that what is that fish thing? That fish allegory, whatever it is. You know, you give a fish, whatever, you can't give them a line to do the catch a fish themselves. I prefer to work with the person to do that themselves.
What do you do with the fish once you catch it, right?
Wait, or you give them a hook so that they can catch more fish, right? Is that it, how it goes, Peter?
Yeah, but more important, you made a very good point, Yvonne. I mean, we're all familiar with sales funnels, but the real focus of sales funnels is the word upsell.
Mm-hmm.
All the focus is on the market and not on the customer, right?
That's right.
So relationship management and sales funnels are diametrically opposed to each other in some ways. So good point, good point. And by the way, they're both important. They're both important, but there's the way you handle them. Desi, you had a question too for Yvonne?
Oh yeah, hi Yvonne, nice to meet you. Yeah, we've probably chatted online, but yeah, nice to meet you in person. So how do you identify identity theft before someone realizes?
Well, that's something that you have no control over, but it's something that if you become aware, it's very hard. That's the whole problem with identity theft, Desi. It doesn't usually happen. You don't usually know when it happens immediately. Very few times you will know immediately, because most of us don't check our credit reports they're now saying that every quarter at least we should check our credit reports. You know, most of us leave our credit reports once a year, if we do that. And then one of the things is that children need to be covered, because people are using children's social security numbers to open accounts. And when these children get to maybe the college age or something like that, they're suddenly discovering that they have mortgage, they have debts that they have no idea where they came from, and they're being held responsible. So, and with all the hacking that's going on, so many companies are being hacked with their information stolen. We don't really know. So it's really a protection, having identity theft protection for it when these things happen, because now they're saying it's not if, it's when. And then you are able to have you may want to make sure, whether it's with the Legal Shield, ID Shield, or any other company, you want to make sure that that company offers an insurance so that they will restore your identity. They have an identity theft insurance stacked onto that you don't pay any extra for. But if your identity is stolen, then they are prepared to work on it and restore it to where it was before. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Do you only work with US people?
US and Canada at this time. Sorry.
That's all right.
Okay. Any other questions for Yvonne?
Thank you for asking.
Okay. Before we get to you, Pat, two things. First of all, please make sure, Yvonne, you put your link in under the replay, especially for the free workshop you were talking about.
Yes, Peter.
Okay. Secondly, can I go back to you quickly, Fred? Do you help people with email marketing in terms of autoresponders and setting up their own system, or do you recommend people use GetResponse or Aweber or things like that? What do you think?
In answer to your question straight up, yes, I help them with anything to do with email marketing or connecting anything to the websites, putting chat box on the website so they can grab information and do stuff like that. Depending on the tool and how much, like how often they want to send out emails, that will dictate the tool. I mean, there's lots of tools out there like Active Campaign, you know, you've got some of the basic ones like MailChimp or MailerLite or GetResponse, Constant Contact. So there's heaps of tools that we can use. So it's not one thing fits all. It really depends on what the client needs, and we give them the best solution for what they really want at the time. Okay. Because a lot of people won't need Active Campaign when they're starting out, but some people might because it's got a lot more features.
So if anyone would like to know more about how they can organise their own email marketing, they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
right.
I'm always happy to chat. Yeah.
Okay, because it's an area that's been overlooked just recently because everyone's gone the way of social media and messaging, etc. But email marketing is still extremely powerful.
Well, the thing about messaging is that any of the tools that you use, you should always, we use Facebook with clients and we get people into Messenger and we use Messenger. But the first thing I do is take that information and take it off of Facebook because it's not an asset of yours if it's sitting in Facebook.
Good point.
So the first thing we got to do is get that information out and store it somewhere, whether it's in a spreadsheet, whether it's in an autoresponder, whether it's in a CRM, doesn't matter, but you've got to get it off of Facebook. And the same goes for LinkedIn. If you use a LinkedIn as a generation tool to generate leads, you need to get the information off of those platforms because look, I don't know if anybody's aware, but what's happened with Facebook in Australia yesterday was that they closed down all the news contacts on Facebook. So all the news pages on Facebook have been shut down because they're going to war with the government here at the moment. Because the government have put something in place that they want to charge Facebook for displaying news. So it just, and what's happened in there is that you've had some smaller entities, some little magazines that have actually been, their pages have been shut down too. So these guys have been using Facebook to promote their business. Now they no longer have an outlet. Now, we believe Facebook are going to reinstate those over the next week or so because they're just waving the big stick at the government here to say, hey guys, we're not going to pay you. But it's all over the news here. A lot of people are hurting with it, especially small businesses, because they've got no input to go to Facebook to get those pages restored. So it just shows you what happens with the power of these platforms. So you've got to make sure they're not controlling your business.
Yeah, and the only way to actually make your business work is to get them off the social media is a means to an end. But in order to get, unless you're selling ice creams for
using
$10,
it, but
right?
you need to get the information and have that available in case they, because if these businesses had that information, they can email the clients and tell them that they're in, their page is shut down, bring them up to date, stay in contact, get the phone numbers, ring them, whatever.
Good point.
But you don't need to allow these big businesses to be in control of your business.
Good. Anna, you had a question for Fred.
I want to comment actually about what Fred is saying, which is incredibly important. I think this needs to be highlighted. A lot of business owners put their business on social media. Those platforms don't belong to us. So we don't have any control over those. So therefore, having everything in one basket we can't control. It is something that we need to stop doing. So that's why if you have your own website, you have your own platform, you have your own security measures for your website, for your CRM, you can use those social media platforms, as Peter said, it's a tool. But if you have your business on there, you are always in the danger of something changing, because you're not the one who is instituting the changes. You're the one who has to experience and be often it's punitive in terms of business, right? Because, for example, we try for my business running Facebook ads. What we do is very much on this, very much on that. Social issues. We do a lot of talk about anti-racism, anti-discrimination. A lot of our work is based on all of these elements. So we had a lot of trouble just running an ad on Facebook. And think about it. Basically, we were willing to pay Facebook money to run our ad, but they thought it's too social issue, I guess, and kept on rejecting the ads, right? So if we only, for example, were depending on Facebook for our for promotion, we'll be in a very bad pickle, really. You know, the pickle gone stale, really, at that point, right? So we did manage to run some ads and all of this, and it's, you know, we found a way to use the language that doesn't upset Facebook, right? But very much when you're on somebody else's platform, it's like you're in somebody else's home. They can kick you out of it.
Okay.
And I think it's important to remember.
Yeah, and the other issue there, Anna, is that they can change the games, like the rule of the games at a whim. So they can
At any
increase
time.
prices, they can, you know, restrict your access, they could do everything. And the same with a lot of the other platforms. Even some of the e-commerce platforms out there. Like a lot of people are relying on them to sell their products, but they can up the prices tomorrow. And suddenly your profit margin has gone down the tubes.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on Shopify and their toxic everything. So, you know, all of this to say is what I fully agree with what Fred was saying.
I hope that people listen to that, Fred, because this is critical, truly critical. You cannot control your business if you're leaving Facebook to do it all for you.
Right.
You have no control at all. You're fooling yourself. So I think it's a great point you made. Thank you very much for doing that.
Peter, excuse me, I don't want to belabor this because we still have one more person, but just one quick reminder I wanted to give Fred, who would have given this too, is that if you are the administrator of whether a group or a page on Facebook, make sure you have someone else. So that if Facebook should for some reason shut you down, then at least someone else can access your information and it won't disappear. I've seen it in the 12 years I've been on Facebook happen to people.
Good point. Good point. Patrick?
Can I just quickly say something? Eventbrite. Our company's been promoting this call all week on Eventbrite. All the members have placed ads on there for the big billionaire that's talking about why he joined our company.
Mm-hmm.
We woke up this morning, Eventbrite had cancelled everyone's account.
Wow.
Yeah.
Overnight.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what impact would that have on you, Desi?
Well, everyone's had to quickly change their links to recenter everyone because everyone had links from Eventbrite.
Yeah.
So we've got the Zoom link, but we just wanted to have our own personal one. So we just have to resend everything out again to everyone we've contacted with just the Zoom link of the Saturday call. Yeah, but it was thousands of people's accounts were closed down.
Wow. Okay. Whew. Thank you very much. Makes you think, eh?
I know.
Patrick, ready? Captain Patrick. Sorry for keeping you so long, my man.
That's fine. I like sitting here being the last because I get so much great information. What they call it, that nugget. I get really, everybody says the nugget. I get good nuggets from everybody on this platform. It's cool. And I've been learning a lot of different things. Most of y'all are coaches. Cool.
Was it golden nuggets or chicken nuggets, Pat?
I don't go chicken nuggets, buddy. It's the golden nugget. So anyway, we all talk about an ideal customer. We all have them to a certain extent. What I like to do to get myself out, to let people know who I am, I like to tell stories. I do Facebook Lives every day about 9:30 Pacific time. I'm just kind of putting a promotion in there, Pete.
Yeah, go for your life.
And I do it. I'm starting to get more on Instagram. They got those short videos. I'm starting to put more videos on Instagram. I'm into doing videos. I got a lot of video stuff in my computer. I got a lot of different ones. I hook them all up. I make little bitty videos. Then I hook them up into Sprout. And what Sprout does for me is I can put them on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Then up on the right-hand corner is a call to action button. If they want to, if you want to learn any more thing of this video, just click. Then that takes them to what you all call a landing page. Then they got to give me their email address to watch the video. If they want to watch the video, they have to give me the email address. And it's been working pretty good. And I talked to Sprout yesterday about, okay, you got this one thing I didn't know. And a guy explained to me where their information goes to when they give me their links, name, and their email address. He showed me where it's going to. Then we hooked up Sprout to my Aweber. So I got them combined now. My videos and Aweber combined together. And I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm on I do videos. I'm going to try get them done once a day. A little short thing that I bring them into about a minute because people like watching videos. They really do. And no matter what kind they are, I try to make them silly. I just be myself. That's I'm getting more and more out there. And when I did my Navy stories, I put them on 2 sites, the USS Enterprise, and I'm getting a lot of hits that way for people. Because down at the bottom, when I say, hey, if you watch this whole video, there's a specialty I'll put at the bottom. Go check it out. That's my website. They go check it out. Then they have to, if they want to find out more, that's another way I get their email addresses.
Patrick, you're being very polite, but I'm going to ask you a blunt question. Is that all right?
Go ahead.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll give you a blunt answer.
What do you sell?
What do I sell?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it all depends on what you're looking for. I'm very adamant about CBD. I'm totally into CBD, and I use it day in and day out for PTSD. All the crap I seen in the Navy as a young man, and I use it day in and day out. If I don't use it for a week, I'm going to tell you all right, you don't want to be around me at all because it's just go boop, way out.
That's exactly what I wanted you to say.
It just takes me to a different world. I don't like going there because if I go to that world, it reminds me of my older brothers. Okay. It reminds me of my 6 brothers. They're not here anymore. Mm-hmm. And I'm the last of my clan, basically.
Mm. Because I appreciate and respect and enjoy your videos, your Facebook Lives, and your stories about your aircraft carrier Enterprise, which I can see behind you, all those things. But they're a means to an end, as Yvonne said, it's part of the journey with you, right? Right. The journey with you is your total belief in CBD. That's the point I was trying to get you to.
Yeah, I've been around the cannabis plant since I was the age of 15. Yeah. I grew up with my brothers. I brought African seeds, Thai seeds, Filipino seeds, Hawaiian seeds home. And me and my brother grew it in the backyard. And the colors, tremendously beautiful, beautiful colors. and we made oil out of it for our own use. So, and if you look in the Bible, if you look in the Bible, it's sitting in the Bible. It's sitting there because the man upstairs brought it to us, and somehow us humans turn it into something evil. So, oh, by the way, I'm starting to go from my Navy stories over to 40 years of tugboats stories.
Okay, good.
Now, I'll take the Enterprise off and put a tugboat there.
Okay. Any questions for Pat? Because I know I've held you a long time tonight.
2 hours.
Yeah. couple of quick things
What else
before we
do you
finish.
recommend?
Sorry, Yvonne.
What else do you recommend as the CBD oil for Pat? I'm still a skeptic. Coming from Jamaica, I know how that product was used and is used. So I'm still a skeptic. So what else? Because, for example, Tom speaks about, his product helping with autoimmune, and you're talking about it helping with PTSD. What else would you recommend it for?
Well, they got the oil. It helps with any type of pain you got. If you got joint pain, knee pain, arthritis, and no matter what you have, it's going to help you. I think Thomas, with his product, I got to check in on it more. I think if he took CBD oil, I think it would help him out as well. Yep. They have the relief cream. What you can put on your knees and joints. I've been using it on my replaced ankle. And the therapist and my doctor can't believe how good that foot's doing in 14 weeks. The movement and the bicycle riding, I'm back onto. Plus, I use it on a brand new shoulder as well.
It helps with inflammation.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And others, yeah, exactly. And I'm a living proof on it. I used it on my bicep got repaired, then my shoulder, then my ankle. Everything within a year to 2 years apart from each other. I'm still going. I'm still moving.
So there's an external, you can just apply externally. You don't have to take it into
right. And it's not an oily cream. It goes into where you put it at. It's not oily. Pat can testify with that as well.
Yeah, it is. There's topicals that you can just apply, like you would Voltaren, for example.
Yeah, they got the three tropicals, and they got the relief cream. That's for joints and pain. They got what they call refresh now. You can put it on. It helps take the wrinkles away. Then they got the relief. You put it at nighttime. It does the same. The relief. Those generate your skin. And when I put the refresh or renewal on my scars on my ankle, they're disappeared pretty much. So
yeah, Yvonne, it internally actually works better than externally, and you don't have to worry about what you remember from Jamaica, because this is just from the hemp plant. It doesn't have the THC and the high that comes with it.
No, you can't get high off this stuff. What? Because when I first started to use it, I went, okay, I'm going to do something. I took it for 2 weeks, the oil. I went down and got a drug test. They couldn't see anything. Then I went out and smoked some and took what's stuff with the THC. I shouldn't have done it, but I got tested, came out positive, and the Coast Guard didn't like that one.
Yeah, and just so you know, Pat, there are outliers, me, example, who tried THC and CBD internally. THC, no high. CBD, I was working with my business partner, and I tried the CBD for the first time because of just CBD, no THC. And I was like, I was so freaked out because I didn't expect it.
Yeah, there was more THC content in the oil than anything else. See, that's the one thing when you want to take this product, you have to read the ingredients. You got to see what the company's involved with, how they structure their thing. Like the company I work with in Pat, what they do, the government expects it twice a year, way they go of what they do. But what they do, they have it 3 to 4 times a year. They bring them in, and they got the golden seal of approval by all this, of the hemp. That means, that talks a lot right there. Peter, you got to go to dinner, don't you?
No.
Yeah, he does.
No. Actually, I'm going somewhere else, but that doesn't matter. All righty. Thank you very much for sharing your time with me. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank
Are
you,
we done
Peter.
here? Gotta run.
Thank you very much. I'll see you this
Thank
time
you,
next week.
Peter.
Eh?
Okay,
Take care,
bye.
Peter.